مرحبا بكم في قناة أطلانتس، قناة العملات القديمة والنادرة. لا تنسوا بالضغط على زر الإعجاب وتفعيل جرس الاشتراك حتى يصلكم كل جديد على قناتنا.
21 most valuable nickels. 5 cents or $5 million. We all know money is valuable to buy the food we eat, the house we live in, and the things we do. Currency is the thing that keeps the world running on almost every level. Yet, there are times when money is more valuable. When the face value is a small fraction of the real world worth. And those special times can turn everyday items like nickels into the world's most expensive nickels, potentially worth millions of dollars. In this rare nickels list, we're going to cover the valuable rare nickels wanted by collectors. By the end of this video, you'll be able to impress any numismatist. But perhaps most importantly, you'll be able to check the change you receive to make sure nickels worth money aren't hiding without your knowledge. 1885 Liberty Head v Nickel. When the Liberty Head nickel design was first released in 1883, the word cents was omitted from it. The mint changed the design to include that important word so that fraudsters couldn't try to pass them off for $5 instead. While many held on to the original 1883 and 1884 design thinking they would become collector's items, it ended up that the newer 1885 was neglected by collectors and is now more rare and valuable. This has made them nickels worth money, and the ones in premium condition are valued at around $3,809 today. 1914, 4/3 Buffalo nickel. 1913 and 1914 proved to be important years for nickel collectors. While 1913 is the year the design changed from the Liberty Head to the Buffalo, 1914 was a special year too. On the 1914 4/3 Buffalo nickels, you can see a 3 sticking out from the overcast 4. In the collecting world, the fact that these little mistakes slipped through means big money. In excellent condition, these are valued at around $7,116 today. 1942 D over horizontal D Jefferson nickel. Until 1989, mint employees would hand punch the mint mark of the die. As it would turn out, human error reared its ugly head in this process, and these 1942 nickels are the result. The first D, for Denver Mint, was placed horizontally and then punched again on the die, creating valuable rare nickels wanted by collectors. They can be worth up to $11,100 if in exceptional condition. 1936, D Buffalo nickel 3½ legs. Thanks to one over-polished die, the Denver Mint produced a small amount of Buffalo nickels with just 3½ legs showing on it in 1936. Errors don't happen too often at places where currency and coins are created, so this has become a collector's item, and the 1937 versions even more. A high-grade uncirculated example is valued at $22,452 today, making it onto our rare nickels list. 1964 Jefferson nickel SMS. The Special Strike 1964 Jefferson nickels are some of the most valuable rare nickels wanted by collectors. While one brockage has reached a somewhat mysterious status, covered down below in this video, quite a few of the special strikes sell for significant sums. One premium condition example of the 1964 nickel sold for $32,900 in 2016, equal to about $39,692 in 2023 dollars. 1927 S Buffalo nickel. Buffalo nickels, also known as Indian head nickels, were in production from 1913 to 1938, making the majority of them somewhat rare today. But the 1927s had striking issues, and very few of these exist in exceptional quality strikes. Just how much are these rare nickels worth? In 2012, one sold for $48,875 at auction, equivalent to $61,692 in 2023 dollars. 1937 D Buffalo nickel 3 legs. Then this nickel is sure to be a sight for sore eyes. The reverse die used to create it was polished a little too hard, and the iconic buffalo is missing a leg because of it. Watch out for counterfeits, but in 2015 a prime example of the 1937 D Buffalo nickel 3 legs sold for $88,125, equal to $107,749 in inflation-adjusted 2023 dollars. 1924's Buffalo nickel. Over 1.4 million 1924's Buffalo nickels were created. So what makes some the most valuable nickels to look out for? The rarity of this nickel is all based on its condition. Relatively few uncirculated exist, and even fewer in gem condition. In 2016, a high-quality version sold for $105,750, or $127,695 in 2023 dollars. 1935 Buffalo nickel doubled die reverse. This nickel wouldn't win contests for drawing within the eens, but that's what makes it so special. The reverse die used to create a special set of 1935 Buffalo nickels had a slight misalignment, causing some aspects to be doubled. If it doesn't make you go cross-eyed, perhaps you can pick one up. An exceptionally well-preserved one sold for $104,650 in 2007 or about $146,238 in 2023 dollars. 1919's Buffalo nickel. The die used for many of the 1919's Buffalo nickels that came out of the San Francisco Mint had a sloppy appearance and were struck poorly. This means that if you can find one that is struck exceptionally well, you might have one of the most expensive nickels. In 2006, one with a nearly perfect grade sold for $109,250, or $157,063 in 2023 dollars. 1918's Buffalo nickel. The 1918's Buffalo nickel is yet another example that was produced in somewhat low quantities, but the true rarity is because most are not well struck. If you can get your hands on one of these valuable nickels, be ready to grab your wallet. In 2008, just before the recession, one sold for $125,350, or $169,079 in 2023 dollars. 1920 Buffalo nickel. Rarity is a crucial factor in collectibles of all sorts, and with the Buffalo nickels, that is hard to come by. But the 1920 out of the Denver Mint, is one of those special examples that has few pristine nickels left from the 9.5 million produced. Even amid an economic downturn in 2008, an MS-67 great example sold for a whopping $138,000, or about $185,729 in 2023 dollars. 1917's Buffalo nickel. Made at the beginning stages of World War I, the 1917 Buffalo nickels have a rare amount of quality examples that came from the San Francisco Mint. Maybe it was that the dies had eroded and were not replaced, or perhaps they were set too far apart. High-quality examples of the 1917's Buffalo nickel will fetch top dollar today. One sold for $138,000 in 2008, equal to about $185,729 in 2023 dollars. 1913 Buffalo nickel Type 2. For nickel collectors, 1913 is a noteworthy year. Not only is it when the nickel switched designs from the Liberty Head V design to the Buffalo design, but it also had two different types of Buffalo designs used. The first with 5 cents on it, which was later removed for fear of degradation in favor of the Type 2. Very few of these in top collector quality exist today. One sold for $143,750 in 2008, or $193,447 in 2023 dollars. 1867 Shield nickel with rays. The shield nickels were produced from 1866 to 1883, replacing the fractional currency notes issued prior. While many years have a plentiful number of circulated and proof examples, 1867 is not the case. This was the year they removed the rays from the die, but some still got through with the rays. There are thought to be 10 or fewer examples today, and back in 2004, one sold for $132,250, or $202,868 in 2023 dollars. 1880 Shield nickel. By combining the historical significance of the 19th century along with a small production, the 1880 Shield nickel is one of the valuable rare nickels wanted by collectors. Only 16,000 were made for circulation. One specimen is one of the most expensive nickels ever sold on eBay at $175,000. But another excellent example sold at auction in 2014 for $170,375, or about $208,581 in 2023 dollars. 1916 Buffalo Nickel Double Die Obverse. With only 200 examples in total known and less than 15 in mint condition, the doubling on the date and Indian chief's chin is apparent if you can get your hands on one of these valuable nickels to look out for. Back in 2004, one sold for $281,750, which is equal to about $432,198 in inflation-adjusted 2023 dollars. 1926 Buffalo Nickel. Once again, nickel enthusiasts have the San Francisco Mint to thank for this set of valuable nickels. While other mints and other years had millions of examples, only 970,000 Buffalo nickels came out of the San Francisco Mint in 1926. A special example on this rare nickels list is one 1926 Buffalo nickel that sold for $322,000 in 2008, or about $433,400 in 2023 dollars. 1918, 7D Buffalo Nickel Double Die Obverse. If you want to know some valuable nickels to look out for, add this one to your list. In early 2018, it seems some of the Buffalo nickels were first struck with a 1917 die, then again with the proper 1918 one. This resulted in a still visible overdate with the 7 showing underneath the 8. Prime examples are some of the most expensive nickels around. In 2006, one sold for $350,750, equal to about $504,164 in 2023 dollars. 1964 Jefferson Nickel Mirror Brockage. While some 1964 Jefferson coins are nickels worth money that a lot of people can afford, there is a mysterious one that is one of the most expensive nickels ever sold on eBay. One 1964 Jefferson nickel was created with a mirror brockage, showing a head on both sides with one mirrored. This mistake at the mint has turned into one of the most highly sought-after nickels worth millions. It is reported that it sold for $1,150,000, $1,153,000 in 2023 dollars, on eBay. 1913 Liberty Head V Nickel. 1913 was the year when the nickel design was switched to the Buffalo nickel. But there's a bit more to this story. Somehow, 5 known specimens of a 1913 nickel with the previous Liberty Head V design were created. And the rest is collecting history that rivals even some of the world's most valuable paintings or the most valuable stamps. Out of the 5 examples, only 3 are privately owned. In 2018, one sold for $4,560,000, or $5,262,000 in 2023 dollars. It is a rare case when nickels worth millions come across the auction block, but you can be certain that if it happens again, a lot of money is sure to change hands for something that was once worth just 5 cents. There are millions upon millions of nickels that have been created throughout the history of the United States. Sifting through them all is an impossible task, but finding a valuable nickel isn't quite as hard as you would imagine. There are a few key elements to locate valuable rare nickels wanted by collectors. You're looking for examples that are few in existence. The rarer the nickel is, the more valuable it is. Any interesting history also plays a role, which is why you'll find war period nickels to be slightly more valuable on average. But perhaps most importantly in the entire world of the most valuable coins, you'll also need to understand a lot about the conditions of the nickels you want to collect. If you can identify the rarity, the history, and the condition of any nickel, then you will be able to conquer this hobby. To keep an eye out for rare nickels, take a look at the list we've already gone over. You can notice some trends in the years that are valuable and the mints they come from. Work on memorizing this list of years and you might be able to identify some valuable nickels easily. Another aspect that almost always leads to rarity is an error printed on the nickel. The 1936 and 1937 three-leg nickels are great examples of how a small error from the mint has turned into big money. Having said that, erosion can cause some of these same problems, so you need to know what is original and what isn't. Locating nickels with an interesting history isn't always easy to do either. This area probably only is part of the most expensive nickels. But if the nickels come from an interesting era, like during one of the world wars, or at a time when nickels changed design, like 1913, then you might be onto something. Finally, you'll want to become acquainted with the world of grading valuable coins. Most valuable coins fall into three categories of circulated, uncirculated, and proof. Circulated coins are the ones that have been used in everyday transactions and are worth the lowest. Uncirculated coins went directly to collectors and are more likely to be in good condition. Proofs are made to an exceptional level of quality, often struck twice by the die to ensure ideal clarity. These are usually the most expensive nickels you can find. A grading scale of 1 to 70 is also used to value coins, with 1 being the lowest and 70 being the highest. Dr. William Herbert Sheldon created this scale in 1948 based on the idea that a coin with a 70 rating is worth 70 times more than the same coin rated 1. This scale has been incorporated into the modern Professional Coin Grading Services, PCGS, and Numismatic Guarantee Corporation's, NGC, rating systems. We've seen nickels worth millions, the most expensive nickels sold on eBay, and some of the most valuable rare nickels wanted by collectors. While there are a lot of different nickels on this list, one thing is clear. The face value isn't always telling the truth anymore. Next time you get some change after buying a coffee, take another look in your hand, and perhaps you'll stumble upon something great. You'll probably have better luck browsing the auction sites and treating them like investments. No matter the case, you now know the most valuable nickels to look out for and can start your journey to collecting these valuable coins. Frequently asked questions about the most expensive nickels. What years of nickels are worth money? Many years of nickels are worth money, but the 1913 Liberty Head V is the most valuable nickel. You can find a range of nickels worth money in many years, including 1880, 1885, 1916, 1918, 1926, 1927, 1936, 1937, 1942, and 1964. Is a 1964 nickel worth anything? If you can get your hands on a 1964 SMS Special Strike nickel, you might be sitting on gold. But these aren't easy to come by. In one rare case, the owner of a 1964 nickel with a mirror brockage was able to obtain $1.15 million in an eBay sale. What year Jefferson nickels are worth the most? The 1964 Jefferson nickels are worth the most. But you'll need to make sure they are in excellent condition to get top dollar, shoot for grade 65 or higher. Other Jefferson nickels outside of 1964 can be valuable too. What are the most valuable nickels? The most valuable nickels include the 1913 Liberty Head V nickel worth $5.26 million, the 1964 Jefferson nickel with mirror brockage which reportedly sold for $1.15 million, and the 1918 7D Buffalo nickel doubled die obverse worth $504,164.